How you doing today? It is time for Burnt Rubber Racing podcast here. It is episode 14, the Tony Stewart episode, the Chase Briscoe episode, the Clint Boyer episode. There are so many names you can play. AJ Foyt. It's the Indy 500 month. You got to throw him in there. Yeah, I knew you'd like that. But we're back. We're excited after a great Dover race, and we're looking forward to this week at COTA. Henry, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, Zach. I don't know if I can match your energy levels here right out of the gate. It must be all that the birthday cake bang you had here before the show, right? You got that one? But yeah, I'm excited to talk some racing. Next week's going to be a big one. I saw that. This week should be fun too, though. We got a new track, so in all three NASCAR series in action. So I'm excited to dive into it with you.
Yeah, and we've had a lot to say about NASCAR this week. I mean, he is at Hangtime Sports. I got to point the right way. I am at GT McAdoo. We also have the show's Twitter at Burnt Rub Racing on Twitter. Let's dive into it. Let's get into it. Here we go. Dover, how'd you feel the start went?
The start was interesting to me, but I have to. I don't want to pat myself on the back right out of the gate here, but I was all on board Hendrick Motorsports this weekend. I just had a feeling going into this race. None of those four drivers had bad stats at the Monster Mile coming in. They've all proven they can run well there. And it didn't take long. We saw William Byron get right up to the front there at the beginning. And, Kyle Larson passed him on pit road at the competition caution. Pole sitter Martin Truex Jr. fell back during that caution. They had some loose car issues, and they were never really heard from again. And kind of the rest is history there once Larson got the lead. So,
yeah, it was surprising to me how Byron got around Truex so quick, and Truex he fell like a rock. I don't know what happened to him. Even on the broadcast, they said it was unexplainable there. But like we both talked about, Byron gets to the front early. He would lead to a competition caution. Then Larson beats his teammate off pit road to get to the lead. And then Briscoe, our number 14 guy here, he would cut a tire down. He would get into the wall, causing a lot of damage. He would go a number of laps down. Will we see a turn for the 14 this season?
I don't know. I feel like it's got to come at some point. This one really stung for me because Chase Briscoe, I thought he had been running a lot better, to be honest with you, here the past few weeks. They've been making some improvements. And I don't want to say we're talking a lot better top 5 finishes or whatever, but they had some strong showings. And I thought things were kind of trending in the right direction for the 14 team. This was like a weird incident, I guess, all around though, right? Because he got into the wall and took damage, and then they took the car right to the garage because it was a mechanical thing. And so there was no, they didn't have the damage clock on pit road to get the car back out there. So they got back up to minimum speed, and then they had, I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there, but anyway, I mean, Briscoe was on the track right down to almost the end of the race, like some 65 laps down at that point. But I mean, I guess never give up, right?
Yeah, I don't understand how he got. You figure he hits the wall, he's not allowed to go back unless they cleared the crash clock, I guess is what happened. I
think I reversed that. So I think they cleared the crash clock, then they went to the garage with a mechanical thing. So at that point, it wasn't a factor because they had to get the mechanics fixed. But it was an interesting little dust up there for the 14 team. And I mean, just Stewart Haas Racing. I mean, we'll get to more of them here later on as we recap this race. But what a rough year for most of those teams in that garage.
Hey, yeah, you said it. Yeah, then we have Kyle Busch. He had an engine issue very early on in the race. They couldn't fix it on the first competition caution, but at stage 1, they figured out what it was. But by that time, he was already 7 laps down. I mean, credit to the crew and credit to Kyle Busch, because we know how Kyle Busch's attitude gets when he gets like this. He didn't give up. He even 7 laps down, he didn't pull it in. He didn't call it a day. He didn't try to blow the engine. He raced it out.
He did race it out, and it was interesting. Larry McReynolds, right on the Fox broadcast, was talking about watching the lap times and everything. And yes, he was 7 laps down and was never going to really threaten to win the race. But he was running lap times comparable to the leading Hendrick cars, according to him, down the stretch once they got that the cylinder issue figured out. So it what kind of stinks that that had to ruin their day, but at least they got back out there and he was able to turn the laps and made up a few positions when you look at some of these other teams that had some struggles. So it's not going to matter as far as Dover, but going forward, it's better than seeing the engine blow up. Like he said, he's going to run it till it blew up on the radio and then having the day be done. So I think they'll take what they got.
Yeah, and I think he'll take the 10 extra points that he would have lost, but he actually, well, not gained, but he earned the position. So points might not matter now, but they'll end up mattering by the end of the year. Then we have Alex Bowman gets by a lot of cars to end stage 2. He would make it a Hendrick top 4 at the end of stage 2, and this would be foreshadowing, and he's pointing to himself because he knows he was high on Hendrick. I've been high on Hendrick. We've asked if Hendrick is back. I mean, this might have been the indication that this is going to be a solid day for them.
Yeah, once they got up in there running 1, 2, 3, 4, I was like, great, something's going to go wrong here in the second half of this race. And, I'm going to be so right as far as the handicap coming in, and we have them all out there front and ended stage 2. Things didn't go wrong, as we'll kind of get to here as we continue the recap. But man, Bowman was flying up through the cars there in stage 2. Now, didn't get to Kyle Larson there to end the stage. Larson, I mean, they did the credit one bank ones to watch there, and it was one to watch. They all picked Kyle Larson. That's how dominant the 5 car was during this race. So, but yeah, Hendrick, the average age of the 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers right now, Zach, I don't know if you knew this, is 26 years old around there. They keep this band together. They're back, and with this new next-gen car coming, I mean, the sky's the limit for this quartet right here, if you want my opinion. They are all very good drivers.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the foursome there, Byron's 23, I think. Bowman, I think, is 25. Elliott, 26. And Larson's like 28. So these guys, if all goes right, and with one of them we know something did happen last year, so we're not going to bring that up again. But he's on his last leg, we'll say that. But if anything goes right, Hendrick's locked up their team for the next 10 years, at least.
They have, yeah, 100%.
But and then Larson, he would sweep both stage 1 and stage 2. He had a very fast car, as we were just talking about with Hendrick. And you said even he was the credit one to watch. They had to change their own segment up because they were like, yeah, we're all just gonna take Larson. He's just so dominant here. And watching the race, I had to listen to the race because I had work, but like he was picking them off one by one, going by the lap cars, and I didn't think anyone was going to catch him.
I didn't either. I was feeling pretty good about that. The Kyle Larson pick to win. It's funny. Through the first half of the race, it really looked to me as though Chase Elliott was the car who might have something for him out of anyone. William Byron, he got off to the great start, and then he was kind of having the brakes come in and out on his car. So I was impressed that Byron was able to keep it up there as well as he did. But that's, again, just credit to how good of a driver he is and the run that 24 team has been on. Now, Dover, you don't really need the brakes as much as you do other tracks. Yeah, but no, Elliott was the guy who was keeping pace with him. And really, Bowman, I guess maybe we should take in some better notes here because he's kind of been the Hendrick driver that's maybe even a step below his teammates. But, yeah, the rest is history. I'll let you continue busting through here.
Yeah, so we have Almarola. His bad season would continue after cutting a tire. You and I both, we've been – going into the season, we're both high on this guy, and now I think we've hit worse than the floor. Like, we're below the floor. We're into the ground at this point.
Yeah, and it was kind of scary to see him get out of that car, too. He was shaken up and kind of stumbling when AMR safety team helped him out. Now, he was okay, checked out at the infield care center, released. He's fine, but he said it. His body's banged up, and he's not looking to take too many more hits like this. Had a big wreck at Darlington, was running top 12, I believe, when the tire went down here. So it's just bad luck after bad luck, I feel like, for this number 10 team. Almarola's got the talent to bring this around. But I don't know. This year just seems cursed for him, and I feel like you have him in your DFS column every week, just saying I need to see something before I even consider him. Even though I know there are points to be made up because he's always so far down on the starting grid, and I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you at this point. Like he's such an attractive play. I feel like down there from a DFS standpoint, and it's just not happening right now. So I don't know. It seems like a cursed year for them.
I've been saying this a lot, but like the more we get, like this has to be a make or break week for him. He's not making them points.
I think you're right.
There's no way he's making them points.
Nope.
But you have to get the momentum here. This is a track. Road courses, I feel like they're not his forte, but he's better at the road courses than a lot of other guys. This has to be at least a top 10 finish for this team, or there's no hope for making playoffs.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Now you got a lot of road courses coming up on the back half of the schedule, so you figure that momentum, like you said, it's got to start here because they're not making it on points. They've got to find a win somewhere. Talladega, you're not going to see that again until the playoffs, and he's more of a Talladega guy than Daytona as far as super speedways. So, yeah, COTA's a big one for the number 10 team for sure.
Now, I mean, if he were to win at the track, it's going to be Daytona. That's the only way I see him getting in. But that's August. We're still 3 months away from that date. We don't know what's going to happen there, and so. But we'll move on. That's later. We'll still work on for this race. Stenhouse absolutely just dumped Anthony Alfredo. I don't know what happened between the two, but apparently Stenhouse wasn't happy and moved him.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere, right? It feels like Anthony Alfredo is the guy who's out of control and maybe causing some other incidents for other cars on the track back in the pack. But no, Ricky Stenhouse just decided he was going to go around the 38 and he was going to move him out of the way in order to make that pass. And, I honestly thought the 38 team did a good job repairing that car and getting Alfredo back out there because you could hardly tell that he went around and into the wall. Now, granted, it wasn't a super hard hit, but kudos to them, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see, how maybe this develops going forward. I don't know. Will we have a little beef here? We haven't really had anything sustained at the cup level this year, so I'm not sure. I feel like this one's a little bit of a reach, but I'd be here for it.
Yeah, I think just the dust will settle here. I don't think it's going to be any long term, but that caution would lead to a pit stop here. I think it was this one. It was this one. The other one was the debris caution. Larson had led over half the race.
He was the one to watch.
But Alex Bowman's pit crew has the fastest stop of the year, gets him out in first, and he would not look back as Alex Bowman would steal this one right from under his teammate. Hendrick, 1, 2, 3, 4. As it's just Hendrick domination this week, and it surprised me.
I gotta cut you off. I have a problem when you saying Alex Bowman stole this one. We can maybe say it about Richmond. He didn't steal this race because that 48 car was damn good too, and they just they executed on pit road. It wasn't even really close. Him coming out in front of Larson on that pit stop. So, and then to hear that it's
pass him on the track.
Of the season.
He didn't pass him on the track. Larson had the race dominated over 200. Over 200
Larson could have
led.
passed him back. He could have passed him back if he was so dominant. This one wasn't a steal. Alex Bowman had the lead several laps after getting that lead. He had to lead through another restart or two, I want to say. Can't remember the exact order of how those cautions played out there. But, this is not a steal. This was the number 48 Ally Chevrolet. I mean, Dover kind of called their shot, right? They had him up there in Miles the Monster's hand this year. So shades of Jimmy Johnson is what they were saying at the Monster Mile. And,
which we need to talk about that. That they know, like these broadcasters know that car was put there last year, right? That car was put there for Jimmy as an honor because Jimmy's won there, 11 or 12 times. And so it wasn't them calling their shot. It wasn't a foreboding. It was here, Jimmy, this is because you won all these times at the track, which come on.
So Alex Bowman's just carrying on the legacy of one of the greatest drivers to ever race in the sport.
Yes.
Well,
but
what
no,
can I say?
But if you're going to go and talk about why Miles is holding the 48, would you tell the story right, please? That's all I ask.
Sure. Well, I think it was also, I think the sponsors actually kind of have something to say about that too. So I'm pretty sure Ally was part of that, but it's kind of, sometimes you don't need to know that, Zach. Come on.
No, this is a need the dough basis.
But yes, like you said, Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3, 4. Joey Logano had some fresher tires there. He was able to get by a lot of cars there, finished 5th, but he wasn't able to break up the Chevy parade there at the front. So, I mean, what was this? The first 1, 2, 3, 4 finish since Roush Fenway did it, I believe, back in 05. And it was just the 4th ever. Yeah, and the other two were like in the 50s. So, total domination. Rick Hendrick was definitely one happy guy. And also, I don't know if you have any other finishing positions that you wanted to shout out, but on the tire strategy, Daniel Suarez worked his way into the top 10, and he was able to maintain it and earn his second top 10 finish of the year. So that Trackhouse Racing team putting a good one down there, and he loves Dover. He's had some success there in the past as well, so good to see him get out there and nab a top 10 as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Suarez. I feel like you got to shout him out. I was gonna say Custer because we talk about how Stuart Haas has been down this year. I mean, we've already talked about this episode, and then you have Bubba Wallace who finished 11th. I mean, it's not a top 10, but they're trending in the right direction now.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick, your boy there, got another top 10 too. So I mean, he's kind of picking it up and putting it down here at more tracks than just the ones he's known for running at well. So keep an eye on that 8 car. I'm telling you. One guy that I need to talk about who was really disappointing this weekend, Matt Benedetto. He was off the first lap, the lead lap. It seemed like a heartbeat, and they had the one of the in-car cameras, onboard cameras for Fox, was on the 21, and like at one point they panned him and he's like 6 laps down. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't know. I guess they forgot there was a race at Dover, so it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. I mean, he's got a little road racing in him, so COTA's kind of a big one for a team like the Wood Brothers there sitting on the playoff bubble, and we're at the halfway point here of the regular season, which is crazy to say because I feel like it's flown by. But yeah, he was just one of those guys who disappointed that I needed to get out there. So.
Before we wrap up Cup, is there anything else anyone else you want to shout out? Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. Chris Buescher, I mean, he was running well early, kind of faded there and had a 17, so almost shades of Homestead, but I'm not off that 17 car yet. And when we're looking at picks and stuff, I like what they're doing this year. So.
Yeah, and we might have more news later with RFR foreshadowing. But so Xfinity Series, they raced on Saturday at Dover, and Austin Cindric, he would get his 3rd win of the year, I believe. Yes. Yeah, his 3rd win of the year. Josh Berry, another impressive run. He would finish 2nd. He would win the Dash for Cash. Unfortunately, Noah Gragson could not win the million. But yeah, how about those top 2 there?
I mean, Austin Cindric, they just had an adjustment there on the last pit stop, and he pulled away. It wasn't even close here at the end of the race, and it was a really exciting race. I felt like the whole way. It just didn't turn out to be a race for the win necessarily, but Josh Berry, man, I mean, talk about the sky's the limit. This guy, he gets the right marketing here with Dale Jr. working at that Xfinity level, gets into a full-time ride. He was driving in the Cup race this weekend for filling in for Justin Haley there for Spire. So I know that didn't necessarily go, kind of how he would have hoped, but also what was the ceiling there anyway. But he's out there in a Cup Series race, right? So wins the Dash for Cash, the final one. I like what I'm seeing out of Josh Berry, and I know you said top 2, but talking about I'll throw in Justin Allgaier there, his teammate right behind him. They were going back and forth a lot of this race. Both were in the dash for cash, and again, Junior Motorsports, 2 of the top 3 here, so good stuff out of them.
And then we have a very young guy, younger than both of us, in Ty Gibbs, making us both look bad. Another top 5 out of this guy. I mean, are we surprised that he's getting top 5s now?
Yes, but also no. I mean, he won the Daytona road course race. Like, this guy's just a damn good race car driver. I don't know what else to say. He gets in here and he starts running full time. I would assume that's happening next year, right? Like, he's too good not to. And I mean, the Gibbs name is just going to continue on here by the looks of in the sport for years to come with how he is running. I'll be lucky just to get out and, I don't know, run in some local dirt race. Like you said, he's younger than me. That's scary.
He's younger than both of us, but yeah, I mean, this guy, I'm only surprised that his car's unsponsored. Like, if you go back to Dover, like that race, there was nothing on the car, and it just didn't look right. He needs sponsorship, and that might be a problem going forward. Maybe not, because his grandfather owns the team, but who knows? Any other takeaways from the Xfinity race?
I don't think so. That wreck on the backstretch where like cars were stacked on top of cars. I don't know if that was wild.
That was weird.
Yeah, other than a red flag, it didn't really mean much, I guess, for the final results of the race. Kind of sucked to see Brandon Jones get taken out, knowing that he was running for the dash for cash, and it was my boy Zane Smith who had the issue that wound up knocking them both out of the race. But at any rate, both races I thought this weekend very entertaining. And I know I posed the question to you last week: are you really that upset about Dover losing a race? And you were like, "Yeah, no, not really." And I mean, after this weekend, I'm kind of sad we're not going back there. I don't know about you, but both Xfinity and COTA delivered.
I think we need to hold off on saying if we're really that sad until after we see Nashville.
That's true. Good point.
Because that's the date that Dover lost. So that just point that out. Don't shoot the messenger yet. But now we have some big news. Big news and notes here. Brad Keselowski has been offered a ownership stake in RFR Racing. It's been reported that Roush Fenway wants Brad Keselowski to drive the number 6. We don't know what's going to happen to Newman yet. Thoughts on this?
I mean, huge, right? Everything I've been hearing is he's been linked to RFR. Now, the ownership, that was new when we were talking about it on the pre-race notes. I had not seen that yet. But, if you're looking at a way to get a big-time driver into your stable, that's one way to do it. So it looks like Penske will be looking to fill the 2. I mean, I don't see Brad K passing that up. I'll be interested to see what happens to Newman. Hey, I'm all here for silly season, even if we're like halfway through the regular season. Never too early to start talking some rumors, but that would be a huge shift for sure.
If there's a couple of guys that out of the Ford camp, I feel like that could change the culture, and RFR definitely needs it. Keselowski's one of those guys. It'd probably be Harvick, Keselowski, Logano are the top 3 that could probably change up a Ford camp. And if you're going to go after a guy, it's going to be, why not have Keselowski come over and drive the 6 for you? If I don't see him go leaving, right now I see him staying at Penske only because he wants the power. I don't think he'll take the ownership stake. It was a nice offer, but I think he's going to decline for now.
I don't know. I mean, the other thing you got to remember here, they're switching to the next gen. So, I mean, I know Penske power and all that, but there are going to be new nuances and, new engineering that these teams are going to have to figure out. And some teams are going to, be able to do it better than others. And how will that change? The funding and the research and the setup that goes into these cars. So, I mean, if you're looking for, I guess if I'm Brad Keselowski and I'm looking for a stake in ownership and a fresh start with a new team, this is the year that I would want to do it, knowing that we're switching cars. But that's just me. So it'll be
fair point. But now we have a new sponsor into the 2311 camp. DraftKings has officially signed on to sponsor the 23 car. Oh my god, it looks so beautiful. The car looks so beautiful.
It's not a DraftKings thing for me either. Like, it's just sick colors. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see that baby out on the track. When is it debuting? Do you know for sure?
One of the Pocono races. I don't know which one.
Okay.
There's two during the same weekend. I didn't say, but yeah, it should look great on track. It looks great now. It looks great, man. That's just all you can say right now.
And this is huge, just from a NASCAR betting and DFS perspective, right? Like, we, cover those on the show, and we put them out on the Flurry Sports Podcast Network, that segment each week. And now you have DraftKings out running on the track, so it just kind of marks the expansion of those things in the sport and in general that it's happening around the country. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm not switching to DraftKings though. I'm still staying with FanDuel.
No, that's fine.
Forget that until they pay me. I'm not doing that. Sponsor us, DraftKings.
Hey, never say never. There might be some stuff in the works. You never know.
So, as I believe it was announced today, NTT has announced their extension to stay on as the IndyCar title sponsor as a multi-year deal. I didn't see an end date. All I saw was a multi-year deal. I just saw the tweet. I didn't read further because like they're signed on for the long haul. I don't think they're going to end for a while, but I mean, it's great to keep IndyCars keeping a sponsor longer than 3 years, like when they had Verizon.
Yeah, I have not seen an end date for the deal itself either. But obviously, NTT being a global technology and business provider, they're a Fortune 500 company. This is a good company, I think, to have as their title sponsor for IndyCar. And, they're taking an active role kind of in some of the tech with the teams and whatnot too. So, hey, they're keeping them on. I have to ask you, because ever since NASCAR ditched, it was Sprint Cup Series when I was a kid, right? And I don't think I remember the Winston. I think that was before my time. But growing up, it was always Sprint, and then it was Monster Energy, and now it's just NASCAR. Every time I see NTT IndyCar, I do kind of get thrown for a loop. Just the title sponsor is still there, like in the series name. But I don't know. Do you get bothered by that, or is that just an ADHD thing with me?
It's good. I think it's you because I don't even. Most of the time, I just call it IndyCar Series. I call it the Cup Series.
Yeah.
I think you just leave out the title sponsor. Like when it was the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series instead of the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, and like Monster kind of screwed themselves because no one wanted to call it the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. They just called it the NASCAR Cup Series because you're going to call it the shorthand version anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
that takes you back for the days, the Nationwide Series.
Yeah, there were some good Nationwide moments that were had. But speaking of Nationwide, Danica Patrick, she will drive the pace car to the green at the Indy 500. Not that it matters, but we had to throw it in there, give Danica some love.
She's back at the Brickyard. She's going to be driving the Corvette to the green flag, and I guess this is the first big headlines with Danica Patrick that I've seen. I mean, maybe I missed something, but since the Aaron Rodgers debacle. So, hey, she's back on the track. Will she ever get back in a race car? Probably not. Maybe. Who knows?
She's retired. What are you talking about?
Hey, people come out of retirement all the time. Just ask another Packers quarterback.
Are you trying to?
Totally threw you off.
No, I know. I knew you were talking about Favre. In my head, I was like, "Are you trying to get Brunner involved with this?" Or
no.
He's gonna be pissed at us. But we also have another announcement. It has nothing to do with NASCAR. Nothing. Well, something to do with NASCAR. Something to do with IndyCar. But it deals with us.
Oh, this is the announcement you need to hear.
Yes, it is. May 30th at 30th-ish a.m. We are hosting a greatest racing day pre-show to NBC's pre-show to talk about all the storylines, all the predictions. We're gonna do a little show just to hype you guys up for the greatest racing day because I know I'll be hyped. I don't know about Henry, but I we don't get hype. We stay hype for the greatest racing day.
Yes, exactly. 1,100 miles of racing, and hey, we're gonna give you a preview show that you should definitely watch over whatever NBC's throwing down because NBC sucks. So yeah, join us before the Indy 500 on the 30th, and we'll talk some IndyCar, we'll talk some NASCAR with the Coke 600. It's us. That's the real news here.
Yeah, part of me wishes that we still had Monaco on the same day, but I understand that they have theirs this weekend, but it still sucks.
Now, do we have a guest lineup yet, or are we? There's going to be some other people joining us, right?
Yeah, so far it's me, you, and one of the other guys who tried to start a podcast with me with Trainwreck Sports. I'm trying to get more people, but who knows? Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. May 30th, they'll be on Trainwreck Sports, I think. It will either be on there or here. Hell, I might just throw it on my YouTube.
It'll be both.
Maybe I might just throw it on my YouTube. We'll just call it a day. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm excited. I've been working on this for a little bit now. Well, should have been longer, probably because we only have three people so far. But
we'll find more. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They may not know what they're talking about, but they'll be on there.
We'll make them look dumb. We don't care.
I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm sitting here every week with you, so.
That's a good point. Okay, no, but now it's your time to shine.
Speaking of not knowing what I'm talking about.
Yeah, here are your power rankings after 13 weeks.
Yeah, so this week over at flurrysports.org, I released the first ever edition of the Flurry Sports NASCAR Cup Series Power Rankings. And yeah, I mean, I guess Zach is going to kind of help you guys decide whether or not I do know what I'm talking about or not. But I don't know, Zach, what's the best way to go through this here? Should we do this like debate style? Do you just want to call me out on things I got wrong right out of the gates? Do you want to compliment me, or should I list who's where, or how do we want to do this?
Go bottom to top, and I'll give my views after you're done.
All right. So we can start with the top 5, I guess, is how we'll break this down. I mean, obviously, Josh Bilicki and Quinn Houff are down there at the bottom, too. So we're not even going to go past 30. But at number 1, I had Kyle Larson. At 2, Martin Truex Jr. At 3, off his 11th consecutive top 10 finish, William Byron. Number 4, Denny Hamlin. And number 5, Kevin Harvick. Should I go further? Do we want to argue outside of the top 5?
Yeah, I'd say yes, because there's a guy who I put in my top 5 that you don't have.
So number 6, we got Joey Logano after his top 5 run at Dover. And, of course, he won the Bristol Dirt Race this year. Number 7, in addition to Truex, the only driver with multiple wins on the season, Alex Bowman. Number 8, Chase Elliott. That's the final Hendrick Motorsports driver, all of them in the top 8. At number 9, Ryan Blaney. And number 10, the third Team Penske car and the Geico 500 winner, Brad Keselowski.
So in my top 5, I would have Bowman. I think if you have,
all right.
He's one of 2 drivers that has multiple wins. I don't know how you don't put him in the top 5. Yes, the consistency isn't there, but the playoff points are going forward. So I feel like he's going to be a mess to deal with come playoff time. Honestly, I don't see Harvick in the top 5 yet.
Really?
The wins aren't there. SHR has been down. If Harvick was in Hamlin's spot, I think Hamlin deserves the top 5 because Hamlin is just taking the points away right now. So I feel like you're right there. Larson's been the hottest guy. Truex is there because he's got 3 wins. And then Byron, I could see him being top 5 material. And especially with the 1 win, he deserves it. But together, 1 consecutive top 10 finish. You meant 11,
yeah,
I know.
Get out.
But I feel like he deserves the top 5 spot. So not too bad, but just a couple fixes in my opinion.
Okay, so you don't have an issue then that I put Kyle Larson at number one over Truex. Like these are just questions that. So when I was writing these, I guess I could pose questions to you, and I wrote them as I wrote them and how I see it. Larson should have more than one win right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kansas happened. Alex Bowman's team puts
Atlanta
together the best
happened.
pit stop of
Dover
the year.
happened.
Atlanta happened. Yeah, so that's why he's number one for me over Truex. And then Hamlin, I almost felt like maybe he should be third. They've been quiet lately. And remember going back a couple weeks, we talked about, maybe this is kind of a pivotal stretch here for the 11 team. They've been so good, so dominant, leading all these laps, winning all these stages, yet to park it in victory lane. And lately the laps led haven't been there. They're still running well. There are a couple of lower finishes, thinking of Talladega where, they had an incident and whatnot. But I don't know. The 11 team's just kind of not where it was earlier in the year. And meanwhile, William Byron, to me, he's red hot. So that's why he gets the nod over Hamlin, I think, there for third. And then Alex Bowman, honestly, I wondered if I should be putting him that high, and it's just a consistency thing. But after the Dover win, recency bias, I can see where you would say he should be higher. So,
yeah, I mean, going forward, I think for me at least, I feel like wins should take precedence over some things. Like, yeah, it's just my I don't know.
Well, that's what's so good about it is there's so many different ways of looking at it, right? So many different ways of ranking or constructing power rankings. So the way that I'm looking to do these here each week going forward is obviously season-long consistency, but there is some recency bias involved, and wins do matter, but these are not obviously going to reflect win total or the season point standings. Otherwise, Denny Hamlin would have to be number one. So I think it comes down to how different analysts evaluate these things differently. And let's see, we can keep going here. I'm sure there's going to be more debate as we get out of the top 10 for sure. But at 11, I had Austin Dillon, 14th at Dover, but he's 11th in average finish this year. I've been impressed with RCR overall. I have Kyle Busch at number 12. Of course, he has the win at Kansas. And then speaking of Richard Childress Racing, 13, Tyler Reddick, which I don't know. Maybe some people would feel that that's a bit high. But like I said earlier, another top 10 at Dover, and I really like how he's running. 14, Chris Buescher. The finish wasn't there at Dover. But, man, if they can start finishing some of these races how they start, and they've had a lot of good runs there with the 17 for Roush Fenway. And then I had Christopher Bell at 15. I guess I can round out the top. 16, Matt Benedetto, and we'll cut it off there. And then I have Michael McDowell at 17 because 16 drivers get into the playoffs, right? So yeah. I'll let you talk about those 7 there.
So I think Austin Dillon's a little too high, only because he doesn't have a win. I feel like Kyle Busch should be higher. Granted, Kyle Busch has been mostly disappointing this year, but he's still KFB. It's still one of the best drivers in the series right now, and you can't deny that. Reddick, Buescher are fine. Bell, he's fallen off since his win at the second race of the year. Benedetto it should be ranked higher than McDowell because McDowell's fallen off a cliff almost since his start.
Is kind of expected though, right? Like we were almost surprised that he ran as well as he did after the 500. But.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he surprised us both going with his runs at Miami, his runs at all the way up to what was it, Atlanta or Vegas, something like that.
I think it was Atlanta, yeah. Only one top 10 cents, and of course that was Talladega, so Mr. Restrictor Plate. But yeah,
which we both know how good he is at restrictor plates, and we both foresaw that coming.
Yeah. So I don't know. Should I even say the next guy on here because I feel like you're gonna take exception to where he is
I
after.
feel like he's too high.
Oh,
I
I know he's too high.
and I'm a gut Chastain guy. Like I like him, but damn, that's high.
Yeah. So for the listeners, I have Ross Chastain at 18. Um, he only has one top 10 on the year, but like I said last week, I'm seeing a little more consistency out of the 42. Solid run at Dover. It wasn't great again, but solid enough. A lot more consistency than his Chip Ganassi teammate, Kurt Busch, who was a little further down this list. But I could easily see making an argument for the guy I have number 19, Daniel Suarez, to be ahead of Chastain. And then at 20, I had Ryan Newman. 21st, Ricky Stenhouse. 22nd, Kurt Busch. 23rd, Ryan Preece. 24th, Bubba Wallace. I mean, I guess we can just kind of finish these out here. I would say the bottom 4 or 5. Eric Almarola is 28th, and I don't think there's any debate that Corey LaJoie, and Anthony Alfredo kind of rounded out right now. But yeah, Cole Custer was 25th, Eric Jones 26th, and Chase Briscoe 27th. Tear me apart or tell me I'm smart, I guess. What do you think?
Oh. No, but I think Suarez should be ahead of Chastain for now.
Okay.
Suarez is just raced too good, especially at Bristol. The Bristol Dirt, he had a top 10 this week. Chastain only has the one top 10 that you could even think of. And it's not. This isn't tearing you apart, but this is just kind of sad that both JTG Doherty cars are ahead of 3 Stewart-Haas racing cars.
Well, I mean, what argument do you put against it? I mean, Stenhouse is on the points bubble. No,
I'm not
you're
saying
good.
you're wrong.
I'm not saying you're coming at me. Yeah, but that's the fact of the matter of how I see it at this point. Like, Stenhouse has been on the playoff points bubble, and Ryan Preece, I mean, yeah, there have been a lot of bad races in there, but what is it? I believe he's got a couple top 10 finishes. He stayed on the lead lap. I thought he was racing hard at Dover. And he's a guy who really, we talk about that last Daytona race where Almarola might need a win. Preece is always a sneaky guy who could pull out a super speedway win. So
he knocked Dylan out of the 500.
Yeah. That's beside the point, though. But yeah, I mean, that just kind of reflects what we talk about. I feel like every week, where Stewart-Haas Racing, man, this year is not gone their way.
No, and I think now all the three of them besides Harvick, no, it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah.
And if it's not being portrayed to them, something needs to change.
Yeah, I agree. Now, so here's my question for you. All right, the official NASCAR.com power rankings. They let Daniel Suarez climb into the top 20 at 20th this week. They had Kurt Busch at 19th off a better run. So they only ranked the top 20 too. So
yeah,
Flurry Sports, we rank them all.
He didn't even rank them all. He left out 4 chartered guys.
Yeah. So Kurt Busch was 19th, and then they had Bubba Wallace 18th. I have Bubba Wallace all the way down to 24th. 23XI Racing, they don't have a top 10 this season. And we're talking about, you commended him for finishing 11th. That was their best finish of the year this past weekend. They deployed the same pit strategy, staying out on the old tires, as Daniel Suarez. It was clear that the new tires weren't necessarily going to make up that much ground, and he still couldn't hang on to the top 10 like Trackhouse Racing could. If you want to talk about startup teams, I mean, the 99 team is far outperforming the 23 right now, and I don't see how you can put him ahead of any of the guys that I have ahead of him on this list, even Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece has 2 top 10s. So I guess my question to you is, am I nuts for having him 6 spots lower, or is NASCAR.com just out of their minds? Because I don't understand that at all.
I think NASCAR is trying to push a 23XI because of who its owner is. They're trying to push more people into the sport because of MJ and that, and so they're going to rank Bubba higher. They're going to do everything they can to try to get more eyes. I don't understand. If you're going to give Bubba 18th after an 11th place finish, why are you giving Kurt 19th after a 6th place finish?
Don't know.
It's just, I don't know. It's just puzzling to me.
He's overranked. That's the bottom line. And I completely agree with you. Like, it's obviously, let's prop him up. But if you want to talk about overrated, I hate to be that guy, but it is the 23 because they're just not getting the runs. And I feel like I said it right in the article. We hear every week they're so close. They're one thing away. They're going to put it all together. And they haven't finished top 10. We're halfway through the season. So call it like I see it. But
yeah, it's just we're getting. He needs to, like you said with the SHR, he needs to put up or shut up now.
Yeah. But hey, if you want to read the full power rankings article, head on over to flurrysports.org and check out our little NASCAR section because I'm hoping to put this out each week going forward, and it can kind of give you all some insight, whether you're handicapping for betting or DFS, or kind of see how at least I, and to some degree Zach too, view guys up against one another just at a general level, and kind of combine that with some of the information we throw at you specific to the track and history and whatnot. And so they're helpful in that way. And also just, hey, you can debate your coworkers. That's what we just did. So.
Yeah, we did. All right. Now it's time to get into COTA. You ready?
Circuit of the Americas, baby. Let's do it.
Okay, Circuit of the Americas was built in 2011. It was opened in 2011 for Formula One to race their United States Grand Prix. They were the only ones. I'll do four tire sports. We will forget about MotoGP because, yeah. But Formula was the only cars to race there until 2019 when IndyCar decided that they wanted to run the track, the 3.41 mile track with 20 turns in it. IndyCar in early 2020 announced they had a multi-year deal. That fell through in late 2020. They are not returning to COTA for the foreseeable future.
Speaking of IndyCar, the Toronto race got nixed again because Canada just really sucks right now. So IndyCar, I know you're probably just going to do some doubleheader at some track or whatever. You used to race at Watkins Glen. You got a whole month there now in between. Bring IndyCar up here. I'll be at. There's going to be at least one person in the stands because I will be at that race. I'm sure McAdoo would join me. IndyCar should race at the Glen. Replace the Toronto race. That's all I had to say. But yeah, let's get IndyCar back to the Glen.
They should, but there's something I might need to tell you after the show that
I know
they're never coming back. They're never coming back. But yeah, that race is also supposed to be on my birthday too. That's what kind of pisses me off. Like, damn it, come on.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. Continue with COTA.
So, I think it was like September, late September, early to October. NASCAR announced they were coming to Circuit of the Americas, and here we are. It is now COTA week. NASCAR invades Texas, Austin, Texas, for people who want to say that they've been in Texas before, because yes, Texas Motor Speedway, we know. But another road course added to the schedule. It was one of three new ones.
Yeah, 3 this year because you got Road America and you got the Indy. I'm not even going to talk about that one because that one triggers me that we're not running the Brickyard Oval. But yeah, I mean, just to add some more, I guess, on the track, I don't remember if you said 3.426 miles, but it's a long one.
I thought it was 3.41.
I guess we'll have to compare notes after because I'm staring at 3.426, but that's very specific. 20 distinct turns, a lot of variance, I guess you could say, in turn angles. You got some swinging S turns. Now, of course, the drivers have been out practicing and getting some run in on it this week. And Brad Keselowski, one of the comments I saw from him is just the variance in speed. Like, you'll be over 100 miles an hour at one point, and you'll be down to, he said, as low as like 35, 30 in another section of the track. So it's going to be kind of a different animal, I think, than even some of the other road courses for a lot of these guys. As far as comparing to a track we've seen NASCAR at before, Sonoma's the best one I can come up with. So I did bring up some driver stats and such from there that we can get into.
Before I forget, this track was.
Go ahead. Once we're ready, that's all I was going to say.
Oh, this track was built using different sections of other F1 tracks to bring to America, because America wanted F1 back, and so why not entice them with different sections of their own tracks? So that is why
it's combining layouts from overseas, essentially, is what.
Yeah, yes, Yas Marina's one. That's the only one I remember because I love Yas Marina. There are a couple other ones that were listed in the article I read, but
that's cool.
But let's look at your driver history here.
Driver history. All right. So again, this is not for Circuit of the Americas. This is it's for Sonoma. I feel like Zach forgot where he's going there, and I'm just laughing about it in my head now. But since there was no 2020 race because, like Canada, California is weird. So since 2018, there have only been 2 races there. Both have been won by Martin Truex Jr. This is at Sonoma Raceway, so take that for what it's worth. Kyle Busch also joins him with 2 top 5s. And then we look at drivers with multiple top 10s in those 2 most recent Sonoma races. Kevin Harvick's on that list. You got Denny Hamlin, you've got Eric Jones, and you've got Eric Almarola finishing top 10 in both of those races. So maybe some guys to kind of keep an eye on here as we do our best to make some COTA predictions here on the show. Seems we've never raced here before, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Speaking of predictions, though, what do you got off the top for DFS? Is there anyone you're high on, even though you've never seen him run here? Anyone you're looking at as a value play, maybe?
Cody Ware. No, don't do that. Don't subjugate yourself to that. Okay. No, but in all seriousness, Chase Elliott. I mean, if you're really going to throw someone out there, you might as well throw the best road course racer out there. I'm taking the plunge. If he fails, he fails. But Hendrick's been too good. Chase Elliott is too good on road courses. I mean, he won. They didn't have any practice at Daytona road course last year when they raced there for the first time, and he went out and won the race. So I'll trust that as my knowledge going forward for this road course and maybe Road America. And then I'll throw a value play out there in I'll say AJ Allmendinger. You can't tell me that AJ is not. AJ's going to be up there one way or another. Either whether he qualifies good or if he has to start in the back, he's going to race his way to the front. He's that damn good at road courses. Put him in your lineup.
Now, who is he driving for this week?
Colleague.
It is Colleague.
Yeah, it's 16.
Right. I like it. I'm excited to see what he can do. I like both of those. Now, the other thing I guess we probably should have mentioned is there is qualifying. There's real qualifying because they've never raced here before, so they're not using the formula. Metric formula.
Yeah, we get 2 straight
qualifying.
We get 2 straight weeks of qualifying, so enjoy it. Yeah,
for real. It doesn't take place till Sunday morning, though. So it's right before the race is what I saw this morning. So in terms of starting lineup, when you're looking at DFS and who might be able to lose or gain points that way, you're not going to know until shortly before the green flag because the qualifying is the same day. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, this is the first time since Bristol that we have no idea what we're seeing until qualifying. Usually by now we'd have our starting positions out, but we're both throwing a dart at the wall right now. We have no idea what's going on. Well, yeah, I shouldn't say we have no idea because next week we'll have a semblance. This week we're throwing it. It's a dartboard at this point. COTA, we've never seen COTA. We haven't seen any practice yet. So take this with a grain of salt because this is being recorded before any practice, qualifying, anything like that.
And the other thing I would throw out there too is just watch watch the truck race on Saturday. Watch the Xfinity race.
Note
Just to
who's
get
in
a
both.
better feel.
Yeah.
Yes, know who's in both for sure, but just to see the track, get an idea of what's out there, and compare that to your notes and whoever you're going by for analysts, whether it's us or other sites too, and just try and glean as much information as you can before you're making picks here on the Echo Park Texas Grand Prix is the official name of
It's
the race.
Grand Prix. It's Grand Prix.
Get out of here. I'm American. I had to ask you, is this a change on FanDuel DFS? Because at least in the competition I was in, now I don't know if it's the same across all of them. You'll have to clarify this for me. It was a half point
Yeah, I noticed
for
that last week
positions
too.
gained or lost. Did they just change that?
It had to have been either last week or the week before because I noticed it too when I was looking through my points last week. But I have good news. I won money last week, so yeah, even after I did so poorly, it's a fade Bowman who actually won the race, which I don't know how that happened, and I had Martin Truex in my lineup. That should have been the other way around, but yeah, I somehow still won money and $1.50. So yeah.
Well, I beat you. I doubled my dollar. So
I put $1. Yeah, I put $1 in. I got $2.50.
You beat me by 50 cents then. Okay.
Yeah,
I barely snuck into the back end of it was like a bigger pool I did last week just for kicks, but Daniel Suarez honestly saved my day. Probably.
You didn't listen to me.
I played Larson. Truex was the one who hurt me the most, and then I actually think I went against you, Christopher Bell, but I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, Custer and Bowman, not Bowman. Custer and Bubba both helped me out, and that's who rounded me out.
Anyone you're looking to avoid in particular? Now, I know we just talked about how we have a lot of unknowns right now, but when it comes to road course racing, obviously there are some guys who aren't necessarily this is their cup of tea.
I'm going to look away from your number one guy. Kyle Larson is not a good road course racer. In his last 8 road course races, he didn't race at either one in last year, so the site I used nixes him. He has an average finish of 16th. That's not what you want out of a guy who's going to be costing you $12,000. Don't put him in, leave him out, just set him to the side, wait for him for next week.
I can get behind that. Now, the last 2 races here, I'm just looking at the Sonoma stats. Average finish of 12th. He did have a top 10. He managed to finish top 20 both times. Even led a couple laps, which considering Truex led 121 of all the laps in those 2 races, I guess that's kind of impressive. But yeah, probably a good week based on pricing to avoid the 5. Where are we at here now? Should we jump into some betting odds?
I say so.
All right. So predictably, I guess you could say Chase Elliott I've got here as the favorite to win the Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix at plus 240.
The D is silent.
Martin Truex Jr. plus 450 is the next shortest odds. And, those are your 2 favorites because behind them, you're looking at 10-1 on Denny Hamlin to win the race. So should I even list off anymore, or are you going to – do you want to call your shot right here? It's going to be Elliott or Truex because that's the way the market is right now in terms of betting.
I mean, in my DFS article, I said if Chase Elliott's got to get a win, it's going to get it now. And I got to go with the 9. Engine number 9.
They've been running well. Started at the rear last week, tore through the field like nothing. It's going to happen. It's probably going to be at a road course. Now, you got a bunch of them to do it here over the second half of the season, but wouldn't surprise me in the least. But, if you want a little more value on a road course ace, that would definitely be Truex there. So you're getting over $2 extra in terms of odds. Look at some of these other guys here. I said Hamlin is 10-1, Kyle Busch 13-1, Larson is 14-1. I think we'll avoid that. Ryan Blaney 16-1, William Byron 18-1, along with Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano. Dover winner Alex Bowman joins our Daytona Road Course winner Christopher Bell and Brad Keselowski at 20-1. Anyone in that tier you might take a shot on? I'll throw out there too. The Dinger is 28-1.
I was about to say, give me the. I was gonna say no, and then he brought the Dinger. I was like, I gotta take a shot. Maybe take a shot at him. Maybe put $5 down. Hope he gets up there.
There's one other guy I gotta ask you about. I don't think I can ask you about Eric Almarola at 100-1. I'd love to, but it's not happening this week for the 10. Now, the guy I need to ask you about, Matt Benedetto, 66-1. Terrible last week. Not too bad of a road racer himself. Let me put it to you this way. We'll make this a little fun here. Would you rather take a shot on Matt Benedetto at 66-1 or another guy who's not too bad at road courses? Daniel Suarez is 100-1.
If they weren't there was no practice, they were just sending him out there, I'd say Benedetto because he has laps on his track. But the simple fact is they're going to get practice in. I'm going to go Suarez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think they come in with more momentum after last week. It's just been so up and down for the 21. I'm not quite sure what to make of them coming into this race, even though this is a race where I would want to buy me some Matty D where I can in terms of picks. But I think I agree with you there at the longer odds. Top threes, let's see here. Martin Truex Jr. plus 125 for a top three. Just bet it. I don't really feel like I need to say anything else. If you're going to give me plus money on him to have top three at a road race where none of these guys have raced in a stock car before, I'll take that all day. Considering history at road courses. Looking further down here, the Dinger is plus 125 for a top 10. Zach liked him at 28-1, maybe as a gamble to win. I'm going to say top 10. I'll take that plus money too.
Here, hold on. We'll do this. Yep. We'll do this like a TikTok for all the younger fans out there.
Oh boy. There it is. Yep.
There's too much energy to be had today. What the hell did I eat?
Oh, it's that birthday cake bang, ladies and gentlemen. It's fired up.
It's that Sour Heads bang. I don't drink that piss water you call birthday cake bang.
So it's not Rainbow Unicorn either? Because you were trying to argue with me about Rainbow Unicorn.
Yes, I like. There's three that I like. Three I will like drink a lot of. It's Rainbow Unicorn, Sour Heads, Blue Raz.
Have you had Pina Colada?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'll put Rainbow Unicorn ahead of Pina Colada. That one's terrible. I sometimes like me some coconut, so don't do it.
No, but there's the best one I've had, and I keep forgetting about this because I'd never seen it in it's like the convenience store. Key lime pie. Oh my god, it's so good.
I don't think I've ever had that one.
You gotta find it. It's so good. Okay, but back on track. Get back to your betting here.
Yeah. Where am I at here? Let's see. Matt Benedetto 2-1 for a top 10. Michael McDowell, little road course favor there for the 34, a Daytona 500 winner. He's also 2-1 for a top 10. We can get behind that, I think. And looking further down, you got Suarez plus 275 for a top 10. Anyone else that you're curious on race odds for? And then we can jump to some props here and see if we got anything for those.
Only because he's one of my guys. I gotta ask Reddick. And I know he's not a road course racer at all, I know, so.
Yeah, and the odds would reflect that this week. 100-1 to win and plus 275 for a top 10, 20-1 for a top 3. So
yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you there. Looking at some matchups, a couple of them that I wanted to quiz you on just because they stood out to me. So this first one here, I'm not quite sure. I feel like I'm missing something with it, all right? Austin Cindric, he's also running this week, is minus 134 favorite in a head-to-head against the Dinger at even money.
What?
What am I missing?
Maybe they're thinking that Cindric is going to get full Penske power.
But it's a road course.
Cindric's still a fantastic road racer. He might go out Saturday and win that race.
He's very good, but I don't know. I don't like that one. I would take even money there, I think, on the Dinger. And I mean, I guess you can say at most for me, that's an even matchup. But if you're going to give me that much of a discrepancy in the odds, like I got to go with the underdog there.
All right, give me Dinger all day. I don't think Cindric's going to beat him.
Yeah. And then the other one I wanted to ask you about, just because there's a couple guys we've kind of been talking about throughout the show, Daniel Suarez and Eric Almarola are both evenly priced at minus 115. It's tough because we've talked about Almarola's not too bad at these road courses, but in terms of momentum, Daniel Suarez, he's got some road racing in there too. I'd be riding with Trackhouse there in that head-to-head.
Almarola needs to fix something. I'm not taking them until they do. Give me Suarez.
All right, and then one other one, because it is the two favorites going head-to-head. Chase Elliott is a minus 182 favorite. Martin Truex Jr. getting plus 135. Before you answer, I could see a little bit of a betting strategy here, maybe, where if someone wants to bet Chase Elliott to win the race plus 240. If you're really thinking the odds are true here, and it is an Elliott Truex race, which road course history, kind of suggests that, maybe a little hedge here in the head-to-head with Martin Truex Jr., or I could see a case where you just bet both of them to win the race outright. But I don't know. Would you take the plus money there with Truex in terms of value? I know you picked Elliott to win. I know you hate when I do this to your winning picks, but what do you think? Like one thing goes wrong, and
you lose that money. So I could see that this week because Elliott has what is it? You said he was like minus 180,
minus 182 in a head.
Yeah, so I think you should be able to hedge your bets this week because minus 182 is not worth it for this week. Take Truex, try to win. In case something goes wrong with Elliott, you have that backup plan.
So if you were to hedge a Chase Elliott to win bet at plus 240, would you rather take Martin Truex Jr. in the head-to-head matchup at plus 135, knowing you're giving up a little, but you're still hedging, or would you just bet Truex to win plus 450? Which way would you go there? Would you just bet them both to win, I guess is the question.
No, I think you're betting Elliott to win and Truex to beat him in the head-to-head.
Okay. All right. I think that is the safest hedge play there because, somebody like the Dinger could surprise you. Let's jump over to some groups. I know we're going to do Group F. I'm trying to see if there's another one. We might be. Here we go. Group C. We got to do it too. Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski are all plus 240. AJ Allmendinger, plus 290.
Give me AJ.
Give him to me.
I'll take AJ in that. There's really no one in that group that's that phenomenal at road courses as AJ Allmendinger is, and so why not take that ultimate underdog there and winning some money?
Yeah, back early in the year, Zach and I were both kind of hesitant. What is Kaulig going to have at the Cup level? Well, Kaz Grala did his thing at Talladega, and the Daytona 500 wasn't bad, other than
the Daytona road course is what you have to look at. AJ came from the absolute back to the front.
7th, top 10 finish, and let's just look here. I mean, Christopher Bell's in this group. Brad Keselowski also finished a couple spots ahead of him, but he beat Bowman. So, I mean, you're giving me 50 cents. I'm with you there. Group F, what do we got this week? Cole Custer and Eric Jones are group co-favorites at plus 190. Tyler Reddick falls down to Group F plus 265. And Bubba Wallace is a long shot at plus 475. It's an interesting one.
Who were the first two again? Because
Cole Custer and Eric Jones plus 190. Tyler Reddick plus 265. Bubba Wallace, group long shot, plus 475.
yeah, no one in that group's that great at road course racing, so I might just take my boy and call it a day. I'm between Jones and Reddick here, but if I don't think that either at this point you're just throwing a dart at the wall, and if you're going to throw a dart, you might as well take the guy you like.
Yeah, referencing those, we were comparing Sonoma kind of to COTA a little bit. Eric Jones, average finish of 7.5 in the last two races at Sonoma, so 2018 and 19. Now, again, that wasn't JGR equipment. Now he's with Richard Petty Motorsports. We talked about that kind of with Darlington when we both liked him in terms of value. But, yeah, I guess in terms of history at a comparable track, he would be the guy I'd be looking at there. Let's see, anything else? In terms of team of the race winner, I don't really know what you'd be finding over there, just because it is really Chase Elliott and Martin Truex are such heavy favorites.
Maybe you're betting on JGR because they also have
they're plus. They're plus 195. So I don't know if you would take that over. Truex was plus 450. You got Hamlin 10-1. Christopher Bell, I remember, was 20-1. Would that be worth a play in your opinion? For comparison, Hendrick is plus 120.
I wouldn't take it over Truex. I think you're just taking the solo driver and call it a day, because I don't think you'll have better odds with Truex, and that's pretty much who's going to lead the torch for JGR, even though Bell has the road course win already.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. But again, like we said, pay attention to qualifying, watch the trucks, watch the Xfinity, get a feel for this track, because we've never seen them race here either. We don't have any inside leans in terms of Circuit of the Americas specifically, so we can kind of compare to Sonoma, and we can look at the odds, and we can go from who's good on road courses and who's not. And obviously AJ Allmendinger, a very common theme here if you're looking at value for a top 10 and such. But pay attention to the lead up to the race is going to be huge this weekend from a betting and DFS perspective, I would say.
So you got anything else you want to talk about?
Are you coming down off your birthday cake high over there?
No, I was trying to read to make sure we got everything on the our rundown here.
Yep, working hard. All right.
But
I think we hit everything. I don't know that I had anything else other than IndyCar practice. And just kind of been following that ahead of the 500, and Carpenter Cars had a couple good runs. Scott Dixon out in front yesterday, so
that's what I forgot. But
keeping tabs.
Keep an eye on Saturday. You'll see two drivers go home from after qualifying. And then Sunday they'll set the Fast 9, I think, top 9 in the back row. So don't forget to watch that. That'll be on Peacock, I believe, and maybe NBCSN too. I don't know. Maybe not because of NHL playoffs. But do you want me to send them home, or do you want to send us home?
You're the show, my man. Go for it.
All right. So subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, where the hell we are else we are on here. Follow me at ZT McAdoo. Follow him at Hank Time Sports. Follow the show at Burt Rubb Racing on Twitter. FlurrySports.org. We have our own little NASCAR section. We hope we will have more IndyCar stuff coming next week because of the Indy 500. You can't miss that.
Somebody is going to write something IndyCar, and I feel like it'll be both of us, but there will be IndyCar content. So
we promise you that at least for next week. Going forward, we don't know.
I'm going to say right off the top, though, Zach is the IndyCar far sharper than I am going into it. So I'll give you what I can from betting, but a lot of them might just be stolen from him. So maybe we'll do a collaborative article. Who knows?
Maybe. But that'll do it from us. Make sure you like, subscribe, Flurry Sports YouTube, Flurry Sports anything. We also, I'm sure that we keep. I don't know how apparently we're on Twitch. We keep getting the comments, but I don't know. But let's talk about to Burner about that. But yeah, enjoy your nights.
Have a good one, everyone.